So many of us these days are triggered very quickly into fight or flight, and there's one root cause of why that happens. Nobody likes being triggered into fight or flight, but honestly, it happens all the time. Whether we're late for an appointment, we had an argument with someone, even simple stuff like waking up and having to take care of something and you maybe don't want to do it. The root cause of all of these things, the stress, anxiety, triggering, feeling upset, feeling tense, feeling like we're constantly trying to run away from that lion, is actually because we don't trust ourselves. Having low or lacking self-trust completely is such a huge piece to this puzzle, and we're about to put it together because none of us want to keep living like this. None of us. It's so painful. It's so hard to wake up every day and feel like each task or thing ahead of us, we're constantly fighting, overthinking, or worrying, or wondering. And finding that root cause of lacking self-trust can help us begin to heal in this process. So what does lacking self-trust look like? It can look like overthinking and overanalyzing everything. It can look like constantly phoning a friend, asking their advice, asking everyone else what you think they think you should be doing. Tongue twister. It's often starting something and then stopping and failing because we set the obstacle based on the fact that maybe we don't trust ourselves that we're going to finish it. And then not being able to fulfill the success that we want so much for ourselves. Lacking self-trust can look like choosing relationships that aren't healthy for us, or choosing activities or events that actually aren't going to be healthy for us as well. This is really painful because a lot of us are trying to live our lives and do the best we can, but we don't recognize that for a very long time, we haven't trusted ourselves to make the decisions for what we need and what we know we need. So what do? The first step is acknowledging that we don't trust ourselves. It's acknowledging it and then turning inward, telling ourselves, validating ourselves, putting that hand on your heart and saying, I trust you. I trust me. I trust I know what I'm doing. I trust I know what I need. I trust I know what I want. I trust my wisdom. I trust my knowledge. I trust myself. Starting there and writing down all of the ways that you know you can trust yourself because you've got your back. At the end of the day, you've got your own back. Writing down those things of how you might trust yourself, of ways that you might be avoiding trusting yourself because, well, then you have to take personal responsibility for everything, right? Accountability can be hard, but it is really healthy when we look at ourselves and we're like, well, I trusted myself and I made that decision, and here's the outcome. Good, wonderful, or bad, the best thing that we can do is look back and say, well, I made that decision, so it's kind of on me to make a different choice now. Being able to have self-compassion for knowing for a long time we've been afraid to trust ourselves. One of the other reasons why we don't trust ourselves is often because as children, we're told to trust everyone else that's older than us, who's had more experience, or being told we don't know what we're talking about because we're just a child. It's very invalidating. Women struggle with this more than men, just because we're constantly invalidated. It's a simple truth. And it's okay that you've been overthinking and worrying and asking everyone else's advice, and that you've landed here. I, myself, have been someone who lacked self-trust. I was told as a child, I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know what I'm thinking. I don't know what I'm doing. I was told because I was young and inexperienced that I wouldn't even understand what they're doing. But as children, we do know, don't we? We're aware, we're watching, we're absorbing, talking to adults about what we might think might have been considered back talk, so we got punished for it. Yet again, shutting down our ability to validate ourselves and practice self-trust. So we begin reparenting now. We begin the process of telling ourselves, you're right. I trust you. I hear you. I actually agree. Because we start to then calm our nervous system, telling ourselves that I'm safe to trust, because the only person that you are going to be able to truly trust is yourself. You are the only person who can't let yourself down if you're trusting yourself, if you're giving yourself that validation, because then you're going to pursue everything from that space, from that core center of self-trust. It's the most sacred, beautiful, magnificent part of you. Choosing to activate your self-trust will turn down the volume on all of the fight or flight, because there's no more overthinking about what everyone else will think or think you should be doing. You're actually just trusting your own inner wisdom. You're self-validating. It's a very calming space to be, because you're not worried anymore or bothered what other people will think, because it's all about what you think. It's not selfish. It's not self-centered. It is focused on the self, because you are it. And you are beautiful, and you are love, and you know those things. So whatever you are going to do, it's not going to be from a place of ugliness or unkindness. It's from your space of love that comes from you. And I know you trust that. Self-love comes from self-trust. Self-respect comes from self-trust. Having individuation, having your own identity and not trying to live it through other people, all comes from self-trust. The things that you dream of and want to do will begin to fall into place because you've reparented yourself and you are practicing self-trust. You'll stop feeling like you're being chased by a tiger all the time, and you'll start to feel like you realize you're just sitting in the chair and having coffee, or you're just driving the car. You're not driving the car and trying to get there faster and worrying that somebody else might be mad at you, because you trust yourself that you did all the things you needed to do to get there on time. And if it didn't work out, you don't hate yourself and you don't feel bad, because you're not trying to hurt anybody. Practicing self-trust will help you establish relationships that are filled with sovereign respect. And you deserve that. You deserve to feel respected and validated, because you've already validated yourself and you've already respected yourself by honoring your own self-trust, your own inner knowing, your own wisdom. So let's go out. Let's practice some self-trust. Let's just start by saying, I trust myself. I trust me. I know I've got this. I'm so grateful to be here with you. We found each other for a reason, and I will see you again soon.